And welcome to Bruins Overtime Live, presented by BuyToyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit BuyAToyota.com with Billy and Razor. I'm Sophia. 3-1 the final in this game, and also a 3-1 series lead now for the Boston Bruins. They're going to be at the Garden on Tuesday, but first things first, guys, the Bruins really outplayed Toronto through the first 40 minutes. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a push there in the third period, but Jeremy Swayman, the Stars came out to play, block shots, total team effort in this one.
Yeah, the overall game was a total team effort. The way that they were committed to playing the right way, the way that they were committed to, cliche, getting pucks out, getting pucks in, especially through 40 minutes, was incredibly simple, but incredibly pretty hockey. It's winning hockey, what they did. Middle of the ice, regularly above the puck, really determined to do the right thing. Third period, never felt completely out of control. There was a few moments of skittishness, that's a word, but otherwise they handled it beautifully, and it was a full team effort.
It was, and you touched about the neutral zone. They were really very disciplined there.
Really good.
Again, there a couple times in the third, but then after it went 3-1, they were awesome in the neutral zone again. They were in the middle of the ice. They had the 1-2-2, 1-3-1 working. They were disciplined all over the ice, I thought. They did not allow the Leafs any time and space in that game. Completely frustrated them. Completely played a perfect road game. And really, just a really, really good 4 games of playoff hockey from this group.
They didn't rely on Jeremy Swayman to win the game.
No, not at all.
Yet, he was absolutely the right choice to play in this game, given his presence.
Yes.
So his presence was outstanding, but yet they didn't rely on him to have to. They didn't have to have him to win the game.
You always make the right decision when you win.
That's a very valid point.
Right? Like when you win, the lineup's perfect. Low-Rye, Wotherspoon, Van Riemsdyk, those were all perfect decisions, the right decisions.
Yes.
Because they won both in Toronto.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point by you. However, in the third period, we have a little bit of proof to that as well, as Jeremy Swayman made, after Mitch Marner scores, made some really big saves to keep it a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, listen, and as a goaltender, you know you're going to have to do this. And that was the big one right there. That's the one on Nylander. You know, on the road, you're 3-0, you have a 3-goal lead, a team gets one by you. You know the next 3 minutes are big. You know you need to make one more big save, 2 more big saves, and that's what Jeremy Swayman did over the next 3 minutes. Got away there. David might have got a little piece of it off the iron. But all in all, he looked exactly the same, guys. That's the big thing for me. Nothing has changed in the 3 games that he's played. From the minute of game 1 to the end of game 4 here, it's looked exactly the same. He's moved the same way. Nothing's changed, and that consistency is what makes you a great playoff goaltender.
Yeah, I've just loved the way that he has read the play, kind of emotionally. He's been very much in check. His presence. So I keep going back to his presence. I don't know, Razor, if he's in the head of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Brad Marchand is in their head, no question about it. I don't know if Jeremy Swayman is or not, but his presence has been incredibly noticeable.
Yeah, it's been calming for the Bruins, if nothing else, and gives them confidence. And I would agree that it's more Marchand. I think tonight was an example of that. Like, it wasn't anything that Swayman did tonight, but at least until the game got out of hand there at the end.
And it was a lot to do with what Brad did.
And it was all about what Brad was doing through the first 40. But again, back to Jeremy Swayman, we'll continue to say it. The matchup suits him. Whatever he sees out there, whatever he's looking at with those blue jerseys is comfortable for him. He's under control. He feels like he can get to the reads, and he understands where he needs to be. He hasn't been out of position once in the 3 games. There hasn't been one play where you're like, ooh, we got away with one there. Everything's been rock solid.
Well, guess what? We get to hear from him one-on-one. Right after this win, he went and talked to Adam Pellerin.
Jeremy, congrats on the win. What did you think about the boys' effort tonight?
Couldn't be happier with them blocking shots all 60 minutes, and that's what it's going to take against this team. It's what it's going to take in a series, and I just couldn't be happier with these guys in front of me.
A lot of good work in front of you, but you made some big saves as well, particularly Nylander, Edmondson late in that game. What were you seeing on those saves?
I just want to do my job. I just want to pull my end of the rope. Again, we got 23 guys in there that are doing their job to an absolute T, and they're working hard for every inch ice they get, so I just want to be a part of something special, and we're excited to go back to Boston.
Back-to-back starts for you. Any different preparation-wise, getting ready for a second straight start?
You know better.
Come on now.
Another day at the office. Yeah.
And moving forward, looking ahead to Game 5 in Boston, what do you guys got to do to close it out?
We're really excited to go back really grateful we got the best fans in all the NHL, and we're determined to get it done.
Congrats on the win.
All right, thanks, brother. See you soon.
All right, guys, 0 for 3. The Toronto Maple Leafs 0 for 3 with the extra man. The late PK when David Pastrnak was in the box for that very, in my opinion, questionable slashing call was a big PK for them, as was it the whole game, really, every single period. But this one, obviously, given the circumstances.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the biggest PK was the 4-on-3 earlier in the game. We can get to that later, but here in the third, when the game was definitely still up for grabs a bit, or at least in the, not recorded, and the Bruins PK continues to do what they did well. Control middle ice, push wide, and then their sticks. Their sticks to the middle of the ice were wonderful. Their body presence in the middle of the ice was wonderful. And they continue to make this is a major factor in this series now, the PK versus the PP of Toronto.
It's a fish, yeah, and special teams again, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
Special teams and goaltending, right?
It is absolute, oh, imagine that.
I know.
Imagine that,
I
come
know.
playoff time. Special teams and goaltending, holy smokes. It's there. This is it. This is under the microscope. This is it. The 13 of 14. The dominance, I feel like the Bruins have been able to put on the Leafs power play. They're not even really getting chances.
No.
They're not holding.
Nope.
They're not getting second chances. If they get one chance, or they're not getting another. It's not a minute and a half in zone. They're not even getting tired from killing these penalties.
They're not even getting momentum, Toronto,
not
from
at
getting opportunities, as Razor's saying out there. So
Right.
they're struggling. We saw this from the Bruins power play the last third of the year, right? Maybe the last quarter of the year, whatever it was exactly. But we saw that, and we would say, okay, don't have your power play. It's okay if you don't score, but don't have your power play be a buzzkill.
Right.
It's buzzkilling.
Absolutely.
The Maple Leafs now, because the Bruins they're literally owning. They're not renting. They're owning on the PK right now against the PP.
Well, former Toronto Maple Leaf James Van Riemsdyk scored in this one, similar that we showed this in intermission. A breakaway, he tried to make the same move, but getting by the goaltender in this case.
Well, from start to finish, really nice play. Shattenkirk support, good placement. We saw a lot of good placements all night from the Bruins. Fending off his Heinen, the defender TJ Brody. Left arm, right arm on the stick, but then by absorbing the hit and just making a play like that, it allows for JVR to come in there in the first place. Low right pinches, gets the stick on Reeves' attempted pass. I think 11, Frederick may have 2, and then opening up the 5-hole, more than the 5-hole, it's like the 8-hole there by JVR Razor.
Just a great play by Lowride, by Frederick being through the middle, by Heinen on the forecheck, and then JVR with an all-world, 1,000-game, professional-like finish from a guy who's in front of the net, knows exactly what to do, a short little move to his backhand, knowing he can get Samsonov to open up. It was professional, surgical.
Surgical. All right, Brad Marchand, guys. Scoring on the power play. We saw him do it in the last game as well. Obviously not the same play, but still continuing his momentum, his push, and his leadership of this team.
Oh, what a game. What a game. What a show he put on in Toronto, back-to-back nights, and it was on the power play again. And that's a spot. We've seen so much of that over the last couple of years that we didn't see over the last second half of this season. Him setting up in his shop over there. We see one over the glove last game. This game's the one-timer that he used to never miss and hopefully won't miss the rest of this way. Just a perfect finish, perfect play by McAvoy. Thing of beauty.
Awesome. And I absolutely love the excitement.
Yes.
I know that it's like, everybody gets excited when your team scores, right? But you're talking about a guy who's, bound for the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And he just continues to bring it. And as this has gotten more of an emotional series, he's gotten better. And he's gotten more excitable. But yet, he's kept his emotions in check. He's getting close to that line a couple of times, but he's been so good.
Yeah.
So smart and such a star for this team.
He is, with that, our Subaru star of the game. So we showed this to you in the second intermission. But with that, he surpasses Cam Neely with 56 goals for the most career playoff goals in Bruins history. Tonight, again, a power play goal and an assist, a 3-point night the other night, 2 shots on net, guys. And obviously the leadership that we see in the room, on the bench, and just like
the number one reason why the Bruins won the last 2 games is that guy.
Is Brad Marchand. And he's the captain. That's what you expect from your
That's
best
a lesson
players.
in leadership for a Toronto Maple Leaf nation or fandom that is You know, they do want to embrace him because of what he's done for Team Canada and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they obviously despise him because he wears a spoke B.
Yeah.
But now I think when they're going to see him as a captain do what he, and not just the playoffs, but also this year. He's been pretty darn good against the Leafs all year, but in particular those 2 games up there, that is a masterclass in leadership by Brad Marchand.
That performance by Brad is what's going to give a headache to John Tavares, Mitch Marner. That's the criticism is going to be tenfold because of the way Brad has handled himself. And I couldn't agree more that this is just these 4 games, let alone whatever else. This is changing perception of what he is. And because he's doing it as a leader. And 37 isn't there, and 46 isn't there, and he's elevated to what they did.
Absolutely. Not that he ever was in the shadows, but like you said, standing out kind of on his own, doing it on his own. And the captain of this team, and for good reason. All right, guys, you've got a lot to talk about because, well, you're going to have a lot to talk about.
We do.
Morning Brew tonight, you're saying.
Maybe you'll listen.
Maybe I will listen.
No, you won't.
Probably not.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
I hear you guys all show.
What time you getting up tomorrow?
I'm good.
4?
Oh, no, 4. 4 in the morning. Yeah, to go do some work. Meanwhile, you guys are staying late. NESN.com/podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And finally, want to say it one more time. Fun event and fun night last night. Thank you to everyone who came out.
To the Boston Omni Hotel at the Seaport and the Sporting Club in particular. We had an awesome time.
And all the fans. They were
all
so great.
All the fans were phenomenal. It was a great crowd.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear Jim Montgomery's thoughts on this win for his team as they take a 3-1 series lead back to Boston. He's going to go one-on-one with Andy Brickley next. We're going to get dressing room reaction as well. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear it all.